Wait, this not work.
Good afternoon or good morning wherever you are, we don't know. But this is another episode of the A Half Stooges podcast. My name is Philip Peter. To my right is
Javon Simpson.
And to my left,
Renard Rhythm Anderson.
So, in today's episode, we'll be talking about dating. When do you know it's time to get married? So, let's get right into it. Now, you would have met the young lady or the young man, and things have, moved
Progress,
well,
right.
and things have settled a little bit. How do you know it's time to transition from a solid relationship to a marriage? Because unbeknownst to many, even though it's a social construct and there was nobody in the Garden of Eden to marry Adam and Eve, but they were together, there is a difference between even common law and a marriage.
And that is the court.
And all the money and the bag of money and
Papers,
such.
the half is for you, half is for me type of stuff.
So we have to...
Our prenuptial agreement, if there is such a thing in local marriages.
Javon is sending a hint, so just
No, I'm not saying any
Keep
hints.
all my money to myself.
I actually
Come with your money.
funny enough, I was
and
actually
sign my prenup.
My
I was
word.
actually in a meeting that a friend of mine invited me to a meeting, and one of the days in which I actually went online, I wouldn't even say coincidental. Like, I'm not believe in a coincidence. I believe everything happened for a reason. So I went online, and that was the discussion. They were actually talking to a judge, and they were asking the judge all these questions, about marriage and leaving the house to whoever who would get the house if somebody dies, whatever it might be. And so prenuptial agreement actually came into play. So the judge actually gave a story about different situations that he would have been experienced in. So I think it is something that actually happens locally, and something that perhaps we need to think about or talk about as much
Secure
as
the
possible.
bag, brother.
I mean,
Secure your own bag. Come
For
with
me
your bag.
personally, still, I don't know. Something kind of
serious.
strange about
Stop
it.
set up yourself.
No, for me personally,
Stop.
I think I don't really
Stop.
agree with it. I don't really agree.
Right.
Me say, yo, the
Set
man,
up
the
his-
man, yo, the man a perfect leader, and
Hey,
cause the man,
man,
say, yo,
set up
we are
himself.
going to that direction there. Then him start thinking and say,
That's why you have to listen to me myself and know me
Yeah, we
myself.
know the pan. What does talk straightforward, but
Yeah.
No, it's not straightforwardness that I wouldn't jump to conclusion
No,
before me
make it
reach
known-
the way.
Before you reach, you have to make it known. Don't set up yourself.
Alright.
I'm known
Yeah.
for getting myself in
And
trouble.
that's
so.
why you consistently one, yo.
Apparently,
You put always in
mentioned.
your mouth. Listen, me, I'm a person who knows that sometimes I say things that I shouldn't
Last
have said.
episode.
Last episode, I said things that I shouldn't have said, and so therefore, as your friend,
People, the thing is that I don't want to get off track, but the thing is that
My God.
these guys tried
It
to
only
set
takes
me up
3
the
minutes.
last time, right? But
Me?
you see, the Lord works in such mysterious
Yo,
ways.
me don't know
so,
what.
so we're talking
that
about
thing
dating.
actually, that thing
So we're
actually
talking about
turned around
dating.
and then
So we're talking about dating, and how do you know that you're ready for marriage,
Alright.
right? And Mr.
This
Peter,
is them diverting back to the
Mr.
point.
Mr.
here,
Peter
but
already
alright.
started off.
Me convinced say we're born for divert. Come in, know about 3 minutes that.
Mr. Peter,
But-
Mr. Peter already started out highlighting the fact that you'd already been in a relationship.
Yeah.
It probably has been going good for a while, and I won't take much time in this because he's the expert. He's the one who has proposed.
Yes.
He will state how he knows that
Give
how
Mr.
he
Peter
knew
the
that he
floor.
was ready. Right? The Lord spoke to him, prophecy and something. And I don't know, I'm just saying. But where dating is concerned, you first have to know how do you know that you're ready for dating before you can know
Okay,
that
I guess
you're ready
that would
for-
be a smaller step to look at.
Because we spoke on singleness
Last time.
week. So to say, move from the trajectory from singleness to
Yeah.
dating to engage. So how does a single person know that they're ready to be single and dating? And then from how the single and dating person know that they're ready to be single and engaged to
or
be married.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, to keep it simple, you would have to be solid in terms of your own identity. I'll keep on emphasizing that because the truth of the matter is, we may mention things like finances, and that would be very important because that's a matter that is overlooked a lot.
You can't date
And there seems to be this even inherent bias that somehow you and I wish not to risk the ire of the fear of sex. But sometimes you get the impression that we're supposed to go, as man, we're supposed to go scam and find this magical money tree and just mine everybody.
Gamma B and get a,
Right.
get a one for
And put on the wedding of a lifetime.
And that is not necessarily practical,
Yeah.
realistic, or even true to the man's personality. So it's more than money. You have to be sure of your definition of self. You have to be, I wouldn't say absolutely healed, because there are certain things that will always trouble you, and
in time it will be healed.
and some things God, I put it further to say that sometimes God allows certain wounds to be in place,
So
or
that's why-
certain scars to be in place, to kind of keep you, not to just keep you in check, but to keep you aware of the needs of other people.
Also, the thorn in the side thing.
Yeah,
Paul
that
would
are
speak
in the
of.
flesh that Paul refers to, where he could have, he would have asked God to say, well, get this out of me, and God was like, no, I won't, my grace is sufficient. There are issues like that you can't avoid, and it won't be pulled out of your life just like that. So you have to contemplate that. Secondly, you have to be aware of the partner that you're dealing with from both the female and male perspective. Have you seen them angry? Have you seen them broke? Have you seen them happy? Have you seen them apathetic? Have you seen the full range of emotions? Have they ever shocked you in terms of how they react to something? Those things are crucial, because many times we are able to put on a great performance, and as soon as the ring put on the performance done,
Yep.
because me official now, me not affair nice up to no boy, and no, can you have heard this rhetoric? Me can't make no boy turn up, step on me, and me can't make nobody rule me, and me no depend on submissive thing there, and you still want no.
But then even so, because the Bible says he who finds a wife, finds a good thing or a great thing, which simply means that a female would have to be a wife before the marriage.
Because a wife is not necessarily, it's dual in that it is a title, but it is also a mindset. So before you have the title, in church parlance you would say you have the anointing before the appointing, so to speak. So a wife has certain characteristics with or without a ring.
Yeah.
And that's why, I hate to say this, but it's true, that's why some man have some woman at them yard where them no put no ring on them finger, but them comfortable, because them have the characteristics of a wife. So with or without a ring, once she's comfortable, she's able to
She
play out
alright.
those characteristics anyway.
And I'll go further to say, even though the Bible didn't state it about the wife finding a husband, you can't be a boy and want a wife. It makes no sense. You in order to find a wife, you have to be able to acknowledge that, oh, this person is a wife.
Yeah.
So to do that, you have to have a husband mindset as well.
True, sometimes a little boy mindset you have, and you look for your mother.
Well, valuable point there. I would agree. As it pertains to even the females thinking of themselves as being wives, and not just because I think me gaining experience on a whole, as an individual, I realized that I can no longer think about relationships as just being a girlfriend boyfriend type of thing. You have to think about it in a futuristic way, where you think about the fact that well, is this person ready to be called my wife, or is it that I'm ready to be called her husband? Is it that I'm willing to provide everything that she wants as an individual? Is it that I'm able to benefit her as much as she wants to be benefited from this relationship. And if it is that you can't provide things like that, then it's best for you to take the time to get yourself in that place and prepare yourself as best as possible. Because to be honest, despite you having things that you desire from this individual, you have to realize that this person desires things from you as well. And if it is that you can't wholeheartedly provide these things, then just back off.
And then the issue, this is a tricky one, but the matter of compatibility becomes key. Because watch this. And women post about this one all the time, and we can understand. But yeah, man, you want somebody tricky with the food, man. So you'll have, for example, I may be in a relationship with girl A, and all I am to girl A is a trash nigga, like full stop. Bottom line.
She doesn't see anything beyond.
Yeah. I show those attributes, but somehow when I'm with girl B, I start to think about she having my children, me being more mature, what can I change about myself, how can I level up.
Ain't that the truth?
So it sometimes, if they are not the one for you, it's best to leave it alone, because in the model that God has set up, it is a case that there is a partnership and both partners are supposed to pull out. And this may be tricky when I say it, but you should be able to pull out both the best and the worst out of the person, because truth of the matter is the best and the worst is really the flip side of one kind, right? And sometimes when you are able to pull out the worst and they are able to realize, oh, whoa, this is, you see me? And then they're able to say, all right, it's time for me to shift a little bit and to grow a little bit, then you know that you're in the right boat. But if you honestly enough man know this and then stop it, if you know say yo, if you're there with a girl right now and you know say if you'd ashamed, if you hear tomorrow say she are your baby mother, lower. Simple. Because me know say me deal with some girl where if them did ever think, them did ever think to breed ear around me and talk about me youth that. Remember say me gonna and go live.
I think even
me I tell you that.
Even from I think this is something that really happens in our society a whole lot. Like we see it even with women, and I see it a lot where you see it and you hear it a lot, where them have a baby for one guy and them be like, cross is that or dirty boy. All of a sudden a dirty boy, and all of a sudden you have to block him and all these things. And I'm like, wait, you never see them signs before, you know, have sexual activities like before sex actually happens. You never pick up none of them.
Because infatuation is blind.
Right. And I like to say I used to say that I love to see toxic relationships. When I say see it, I mean outside looking in.
Yeah.
Right? I'm seeing it.
What gay a blind man? No worry, we're not doing it.
Outside looking in, not
me say me a gay a blind, just continue.
Right. So it's entertaining, yes, but it's not healthy.
Yeah.
So I like to see it because of the entertainment aspect, you know, because it gives me something to probably I can write about this.
Boy,
and I
like
can
see that
find my story on this. But then health-wise, I know that it's not good for either person.
Yeah.
So I think either person should.
And even you as a bystander.
Myself as a bystander, because if you consistently see something, you're like, oh, this is
influence your behavior too. Yeah.
And that's what happens. That's what happens when you watch Love and Hip Hop. When you live on the shade room,
God, precisely.
You live up at tropics, you go over daydream.
Women start behaving like that.
It's a spiritual thing for both men and women. Yeah. What you ingest is what you are going to expel.
Yeah.
And when you realize, you can talk about a man a give you a bun, or what you do if a man give you a bun, or if a girl give you a bun. Sometimes because you're, and this is a practical aspect, because you are spending so much time in fear about it and you're not treating them right, they may not give you a bun.
And the thing, I saw a tweet today that stated that the hardest thing to do is to be in a relationship with somebody you were first friends with, because when the relationship or if the relationship ends, you lose both
a friend and
right.
a partner.
And I quoted the tweet to say people are thinking about the end of the relationship before they thinking about the starting.
But
Because
that is the
you
same
know,
concept.
alright.
the
So
failure is the precedent.
Yeah.
you know, even with that though, like that's kind of I guess it's different strokes for different folks though, at the end of the day. But because you will have some persons that say, yo, they want to embrace a friendship before even a relationship, while you have some persons would perhaps be like, yo, relationship and then we can have a friendship in the midst of everything. I think it depends on you as an individual, and that's why sometimes we can't necessarily live on the YouTube and the
There's
reality
no-
movies and all these things, and
there's
believe
no
that
one
that's
size fits all.
and I believe that that's a one.
Everything
Yeah, I
you
believe
need.
that's a norm, because it's not really the norm.
The goals thing.
You want
Yeah.
to just drive up a while ago, so
Be
just
like-
I tell us if anything happen with there is him.
We'll be,
Can't
we'll be,
One of him no telemarketing. Anyways,
we'll be like, we want that. Like we see that happen. Like we see this perfect looking relationship. So we
Stop
see,
want that and what God have fear, brother.
even as it pertains to a relationship such as, I'll give an example. Like you have a Wayne and a Tammy, where you know, meet the Mitchells. Like that I love it, to be honest. I'm a fan
Good
of it, right?
morning to you. And how
Baby
do
yours.
you do? Batman show that, isn't it?
Exactly, I love it. But at the end of the day, some persons, and this
Batman
is
show.
this is a shout out to them at the end of the day. Like some persons might see that as a relationship and be like, yo, I want that. But them not necessarily know how long it actually took for them to
get
reach
there.
there.
Yeah,
You understand
the
me? Like
work they have to
to
put
be
in.
that, because when you look on Wayne and you look on Tammy and you be like, yo, how they be so comfortable around each
They're
other? Like,
comfortable, they are secure.
yeah,
Like-
you understand what I say?
Like, you get a sense, and you have to admit this too, you know. Tammy is so confident in herself, so she never, see no woman around Wayne and Tammy
Him
start
type of
get
thing
edgy.
there. Exactly, because
Or no man there around Tammy and Wayne say, yo,
Precisely,
you're
precisely.
there.
Precisely.
And that
Especially-
take time,
and
come in, no
especially
say,
because of the
you have
career
been
that each holds,
Exactly.
He's an entertainer, so it's going to be around
and
a
the
lot
popularity both of them have.
Exactly. So it's going to be around a lot of women based on where he goes,
Mhm.
performance that he does,
And
to
she
be-
vice versa.
exactly. And so to be fine with yourself to say, go do your
Yeah.
thing, and
Yep. And trust each other enough, because at the end of the day, we have to look on the fact, say, yo, some persons, I hear, and I laugh because I hear it as a joke at times, persons will be like, yo, they're going to date a ugly man because them know nobody actually go after him after.
Bunya get
And
same way.
I would like
listen
to,
me,
I would
speaking-
like
speaking on behalf of the ugly men,
Bunya get
um,
same way.
because we have jokes,
I like,
we
I
can
like
make
hearing
other
that,
people
like,
laugh,
Woo!
right?
But even that, the same things where you have we attract you
Attract
might
a bag
attract
of
somebody else
people.
too.
If
Yeah,
I can
man.
be a clown for you, I can be a clown for anybody else. Calm
So you have to be secure within your own self.
down. Right.
If you know, say, yo, this person is in love with you, or loves you to the point where they'll never hurt you.
Insecurity really turns people off. Like if somebody is with you, after a while, all you keep on complaining about is who this and searching them. They feel the need to leave because they don't have that. Okay, I can come here and be fine.
To-
It's to be constantly questioning about their morals.
Yeah.
And what they are doing when they know they're not doing anything. No, I don't want nobody to stay. If me I do something good and you keep on a find something about it for blame, me I go and leave the job.
Right.
To
What
be
you
honest,
thinking about?
as an individual, I believe that, even for me personally, I believe that I have certain insecurities, but at the end of the day, these insecurities aren't things that I would ever use in a relationship to perhaps push away the person in a sense, where I'm going to be like, yo, so you're there with a man because me lack this or I feel like me lack that. Like, I'm going to push away the person upon the basis like that. Like, it's more of an internal fight for me.
Which is
in a
why the
sense.
first thing was to have a great self-identity.
Mhm,
And in order
exactly.
to have that, you really have to have a relationship with God.
Yep,
Because
indeed.
people are going to tell you anything,
Indeed,
and you probably
indeed.
believe it. But what God tell you, and
It's
God,
objective.
and God word is constant. Same, now, forever, is to come.
And him not telling a lie
I'm
either.
not telling
God
a
not telling a lie.
If he looks at you and said that you are wonderfully made,
God is up there like, would I lie?
like,
Ah.
therefore let us believe because you are actually wonderfully made. So if you
And to the specific person in which you are
Right.
made for it.
and if you find yourself in a
Yeah, right.
situation where you're not treated like you're wonderfully made, don't stay there and question your worth.
Exactly.
It's not your worth, right? It's the other person. So those are all the things that we think that are necessary
Yeah.
to be had in order to
move on to the next
step, to
level.
actually be ready for marriage.
And be honest with yourself, guys. I mean, it is your future, you know. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? What I always think about, and I think, boy, it have an up and a downside to it, because you think of it at times as, you know, move to a particular place with an individual, and it might be the wrong person, right? And sometimes that very idea or thought might prevent you from actually moving forward any at all. Like, you might just be there fearful, thinking, say, yo, I'm not think I meet the right person in, or who's the right person though. So all of that, as Renard would have said, you need to have a connection, not just with God as it pertains to knowing yourself, but you have to have a connection with God, so much so that you can actually hear him when him say, yo, yeah man, that one, yeah. Other one.
So here's all the takeaways. You need to evaluate yourself.
Yep.
Before you make a step out to date somebody.
But not physical and spiritual level.
Right. If you're already in a relationship, you need to evaluate the relationship to see if it's going where you want it to go. And based on your goals, not the goals where you sip on TV and social media.
Not the hashtags.
Right, based on your goals. And if not, have a conversation with the person. Sorry, but this is not working out for us. And part ways best as possible. If it's working out the way, then have the conversation about the next step. Right? When the next step is taken, there's more conversations to be had. Right?
Always.
It's constant communication over.
Right now, every other conversation about wedding planning.
And constant re-evaluation of the situation itself. Because the person might be one person today, and tomorrow them change and them ideas change.
Right. And when you get married now, and a honeymoon time, have a conversation.
Again.
Say, yo, Bobal.
Why?
Cock up.
Them time they wait still, but
What you mean?
No,
man. At that time, in the moment conversation
in the
different.
moment conversation
You
different
can
from
you
what
can
you
say
spoke
what
about before.
Yeah, man. They can state their preference, but at time at 6:30 now.
Yeah. So
alright, so I think this has gone over the age limit.
So that was another.
No, man.
That was another episode of 2.5
Stooges.
Yes.
Right. I'm Renard William Anderson.
I'm Philip Peter.
I'm Javon Simpson.
Yeah, hear from you guys. You'll hear from us next time. Out.
Wait, this not work.
Just move.